Hi guys, it's the Journey to Justice. Just a little chit chat here. Well, they plowed this parking lot not that well, but they'll be back later. They just gave it a once over and did the entrances and a little roadway for cars to go around. But right here, it's still snowy. See them cars straight ahead of me? The one to the right, well, there's two. There's like a minivan, but it's a little bit bigger than a minivan. You can stand up in that one. And next to it is their car. Now, they always park here, but park in different places in this parking lot. And plus, they probably go up to the next parking ride and park there. But I don't like going up to that one because it's not very accessible, and I feel like it's a little safer here. Well, they've been here for months. First, they started out with a car, sleeping in their car, and they go to work too. It's a couple. I don't know if they're married or boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't know. I don't know if they're saving up to move on, but they work. And so they go to work in their car, or they take the van and they go wherever they go. And the one to the left, there's two to the left. Now that van stays there all the time, but somebody, I don't know, it's been there a long time. But the other car next to it, I know that person, and he stays in his minivan too. And so, and there's another van that comes. He's from out of state. I think he's from Virginia. And he also works and lives in his truck. So he's got a little bit more less room than I got. And so he moves around and parks in different areas. So, you know, you kind of get to know people, and they all get to, well, I don't know them. I've never spoken to those two in the car or the man in the van, but I know the person in the white SUV there. And, but they know that we stay here all the time for now. So it's pretty safe here. So if anything was to happen, I feel like any of those people, if they hear anything, would call the police or, you know, help out. Now, if I was seeing something was going on, I would call too. So, and I have to keep moving my car because, you know, guys, I still have my old car that my son that I gave to my son to drive before, you know, when he was younger, to get to work, to go to school, to go to college. But like in the summer, he bought a new car, a new vehicle. And so I told him to keep the vehicle because I will need it when I come back from Florida, when we move back to Wisconsin. Because, you know, anybody that knows me, you know, I did live here and not very far away from here, actually, for 6 years while my son was in high school. And so I do know this area very well. And my daughter lived in Florida for like 15 years. But, I mean, I went down there, you know, I don't even know what time of year it is anymore. But, you know, year and a half ago, I should say now, and stayed down there and for like 9 months, I guess. So some of my videos, you will see that I'm in Florida, in Miami. Well, the plan was to move with her job to Illinois, Wind Lake, around the area. Not very far from here, actually. It's probably about an hour and a half from where I am now. So it's not very far. and she was going to take over the office. But, you know, as we all know what happened with the big P in the C-19 and all that. And Miami, you know, Florida we got locked down very, very fast. And my daughter was doing her work from home, and the kids couldn't go to school, and she was in middle of getting custody, well, permanent custody of my grandchild's cousin, which is her dad's sister's little child. And then she started proceedings for adopting her. Well, then we had to do, well, she had to do, not me. She wanted to move out of state, so the courts were moving very, very slowly, and we just couldn't get nothing done, too much done. And so she finally got permission to take her out of the state. This is why it was taking so long to make that move back to Illinois or back to Wisconsin. But because of her job, it kind of went upside down, and he wasn't paying anybody, and he was getting rid of, you know, laying people off or hoping that they would quit because they wasn't getting paid. And this is Miami, guys, Florida, very expensive. They can't live on thin air. So it's very hard for everybody, and even my daughter didn't get paid for a long time. And so in the end, he only kept a few people, and one of them was my daughter. And she just explained to him that I can't do it. Please lay me off. Please lay me off. And she'd been working with him for years, and they're very close in the church and all that kind of stuff. And finally, he let her go, and she got the letter she needed to get unemployment. I mean, I wasn't even working neither. So none of us was getting no money. 3 kids, me, my daughter. So he eventually paid her the back pay that she owed him for the rent, which she took on some other jobs, which helped because that made her rent go in half. So she did the right thing by him. She said she was going to do, and he did what he said he was going to do. And she paid him the month's rent and was up to date. And she got the court order to be able to take the child she was trying to adopt, that's in her care, out of the state. So she hopped my grandson, which he's old enough to get on a plane, and he took her with him, and she paid for a what you call it, like a carer, you know, that makes sure they get on the plane, escorts them to the plane, and when they get off the plane, to escort them out to make sure that they are handed over to the person's picking them up, which was my daughter's aunt. And they were going into Chicago airport. And so that was done. And in the meanwhile, she got the church, people from the church, to pack her stuff in the moving van. We went and picked up the moving van, and we got a trailer for the car. As you all know, that's what I was doing. And so I said to my son, get back to the car. I said, well, this is good timing. You got a new car. keep the car because I'll need it when I get back to Wisconsin. So I got a vehicle to get A to B. And that vehicle is, well, I don't know. It gets you to A to B. And, I got through all summer. It didn't have air conditioning, but I had a fan and it didn't matter. I was working. So I only had to, deal with it for a little bit. That's with the heat. And it wasn't too bad. And so I got that vehicle still right next to me. And it's cheaper on gas as well as this minivan, because I got transmission problems and I already know it's the transmission. I've taken it in, gotten an estimate. It's like $2,000. That's like any transmission. It's going to cost you at least $2,000. But is it worth fixing? And I don't really have the money anyway. And is it worth fixing? I don't know. It's a 2002. But everything else in the vehicle is okay. I mean, it's nice. Hardly any rust or anything like that. But it does need some work. And that's why I can't really travel anywhere in it, because the transmission is slipping. Now, when I go along, I kind of know this vehicle now, how to shift it back into gear. But how long would that last for? Will it just go completely? So I really don't drive it around. Only, to go to the bathroom, the gas station, get to work, give it a run. And I just gonna have to work on getting another vehicle. And people asking me, why are you living in a minivan? Well, I've never lived in a minivan. I've never been homeless, and I'm not really homeless. I'm just houseless. And it's just, I just wanted a break from paying rent. I mean, I used to pay $1,000 for rent, plus bills, plus pay for my car payment, because I got my car repoed after nearly I paid for it, really. But things like that happen. I've always lived in a place. I've lived in a place. I mean, I still got my storage full of all my stuff from my apartment. I don't know when I'm going to decide to start getting rid of it. Because I just might move and I just might need it. But yes, it's costing me every month. But I look at it like this at the moment. This is how I'm looking at it, is I don't pay rent. And, that little bit of money, I'm not missing it much because I'm not paying rent. So I just keep my stuff. And in the first place, it was only supposed to be temporary. And I didn't really organize it that well where I can go in and know exactly where everything is at one given time. I should go there and organize it, but I just can't be bothered. And like I said, I just bought some little bits to tide me over. I mean, I got my clothes I need. I got my coat, my scarves, my hats. I got what I need to put in this minivan. There ain't much room in this minivan, let me tell you. I mean, I took out the seats, but not the back seat. I folded that down, but it doesn't lay all the way flat. But I got it good enough. I got my bed in there, a cot. It's like a camper, but it was extra long and a little wider, and it's really, really sturdy. It can fit a 350-pound person. But it's comfortable. And I got a heater that's on the floor. I got two, vents that heat out at the bottom. So I've got it the side where my bed is, so it's underneath. And I don't have anything near the heater. And so it makes everything nice and warm under the bed. When the car's running, I just heat it up and it's all nice and toasty, warm. I have a I don't know, a couple of inch foam mattress that goes on it. I wrapped it with a couple of blankets and I put that on there. And then I got a couple of queen size, one size fluffy and the other size a normal quilt. Gray, nice color. I got 2 of them. And they keep me really, really warm. And I've never been a person that likes to sleep with a lot of heat. So this coolness in the morning, which, yeah, it is, but I can put a hat on and make my, I wear a hoodie as well, so I can just cover my head a little bit. Or I can put one of my nice thermal hats on. But my body never gets cold. I'm never cold. I am nice, toasty warm. I even got thermal socks that I can put on. Nice, thick thermal socks that you would use for cold nights or put in some, if you're wearing boots, they keep you nice and warm. And I do have a few those hand warmers or feet warmers in emergency. You know, the ones that you just crack open and shake them or whatever. Put them inside your gloves or put them inside your feet. You know, inside your shoe for your feet. You know, in emergency for something like that. Or you can put it inside your jacket or inside your hat and use it to keep your head warm. You know, whatever you need it for. Improvise, you know. Use them for whatever you need them for. So, you know, so I'm sitting here and, you know, I do have somebody to talk to. Like I said, that person over there in that vehicle. I mean, we do have sit in our vehicles and chat with each other with the windows down a little bit. But that person is doesn't work and he's on disability or something. But I work, so I'm not just sitting around, and he has places to go to, and which he does. So I do have somebody here I know, so I'm not completely on my own, if you know what I mean. And he just come to my job and takes showers and stuff like that. And, you know, I get tons of shampoos and soaps. Not hand soap, but like in the body soap and stuff, everything in a bottle. People leave their stuff in there. Brand new. They forget it. So if they don't come back for it, we just pile it up, or the other people pile it up for me, and I give it away. You know, recycle it, give it to people in need. So, I mean, it's good shit. It costs you $5 or $6 a bottle of, you know, some soap, shampoos, conditioners, whatever the case may be. If it's good stuff and it's hardly used or 3/4 the way full, I'm saving it. I'm not dumping it. Now, people leave jackets in there. If they don't come back for it, it gets washed, and we use it to go outside and clean the trash and stuff like that, because, you know, make use of these things. Or we can just give it away, you know, to people that might need it. And if it fits you, here is a nice warm jacket, or whatever the case may be. So, you know, help each other out. So, like I said, I'd like to travel, but it's not really possible right now. I wouldn't go anywhere right now. But maybe in the summer I might look forward to see where I am, and if I got a different vehicle, or if I save up some money or something. It's like, it's not cheap living in a van, but you're not paying rent. But, I mean, I do use my gas that I put in my vehicle for heat. And I do use a lot of, I run around to, you know, to just move the vehicle around. But if I spend money on heat each week, which is probably, I use $30 a week, just running my car and everything, that's nothing. That's nothing. And this car takes more gas than anything because there's problems with the transmission. And I do not get good mileage. Even idle just sitting here with the heat on, it uses more gas because of it's got a few problems. But that's not really a big deal right now because I need it. And I don't live in a home, apartment. So what would you spend on heating every month in a cold state? You'd spend at least 100, 150 to 200. Just depends who you are and how you like your house to be warm or cool. And in the summertime, you be using the air conditioning. You spend a lot on air conditioning too. Lots of states, that's warm state, they spend a lot of money on their air conditioning each month. So, you got to look at it realistically, and that's just how it is right now. Even if you get a hotel room, that's like $40, $50 a night. Is it worth it? No, it's not even worth it. But just say that, there was something happening, a real bad storm. It lasted, it was freezing cold, it was 50 below, or something extreme, which I hasn't got yet. I might be getting a hotel room. And I can share a hotel room with that person over there because I know him that well. And just sharing, that's about it. But we're friends, so, and he knows my whole family, my kids and everything like that. So, there are options. But that hasn't got to that right now. I was waiting for it, but I have my job where I can go and sleep in their parking lot. People know me there. They know they know who I am. They have an outlet outside. I can maybe, if I needed something electrical plugged in, like maybe one of those electric heaters that are much safer than using propane, butane, or anything that you worry about that you would be scared to leave on all night or catch on fire or anything like that. Because, living in a minivan, if you have not done and remodeled it yourself with new carpet, say fireproof carpet, it's less flammable. Yeah, this car will go up like no tomorrow, like nobody's business, because this is just regular fabric they put in cars years ago, and they're not very flammable. I mean, they're very flammable. They're not very fireproof like maybe the materials they use today. And so if I was that worried, I'd get myself a little electric heater that is much safer. You wouldn't be scared of getting poisoned and never wake up the next day or be on fire. I can plug it in the outlet that they have in the parking lot. And I mean, I might be thinking about doing that sometimes and getting my computer out of storage and using it, to make some videos and put some music on my videos or something. like I used to in my other videos, put some music in. But I'm learning that people don't like the music. But sometimes the music was only for dramatic videos, a little bit dramatic and an intro. So I've got that all on my big computer that has to have electric. And I really don't, there's not much room in here because it's a 27-inch. And it doesn't like the cold. You know what I mean? Those computers don't like the cold. But I could get it and then put it back into storage because my storage is climate control, so it's not cold in there. And in the summer, it doesn't sweat, and your stuff get wet and damp because it's climate control. And so that's what I pay for too. The climate control is not just any storage masters, it's not just any cheap storage. because my stuff would have been ruined by now. So you have to think wisely. So who knows? You know, maybe if I meet other people and that's in this life that they live in for whatever reason. You know, there's this couple that's at my job. And last year, I should say last year, it's February, right? February last year. For 6 months, because he's been at the job for 1 year now in February. But just go back 6 months in between that 6 months before that. That would have been the whole of the winter. They lived in a tent in the freezing cold under a bridge in Milwaukee in a tent in this weather. And I went, well, you're a bit worse off than me. They go, no, they were fine. They just had them too, and they had lots of blankets and whatever, and nothing got wet. They were under the bridge and nobody messed with them. Well, that's amazing. Nobody messed with them, but they were working and they were going to work, and they didn't even have a car at that time. So I just think that I'm a bit lucky, you know, because I would not be living on the street in a tent. I don't know what I'd do. I would just have to kiss ass or something, you know. I would just have to ask for help. I don't know. But when it comes nearer this season of, hopefully some campsites will open up. I wouldn't mind doing a little camping. That's what I'd like to do. Get a tent, camp up, get my table out, get everything, you know, organized, and camp. That's what I'd like to do. But the campsites, if I could share a campsite with somebody and we lived there like $20 a night and share it, that would be $10 a night. It wouldn't be much. It wouldn't be much. And we'd feel like we had a home to go to. We had a campsite or something. I don't know if anybody out there lives around this area and knows maybe a little site we can camp on. Who knows? Who knows who watches these videos? But that would be something I could think of, because, you know, that would be nice. There'd be a little lake there. Most campsites have lakes, you know, little ponds, if you want to call it that. Little man-made lakes, you know, wooded areas, little privacy. So I'm going to look into that. And maybe that might work. There are a few near me, like Racine area, maybe Kenosha, you know, in Wisconsin. You know, those are all kind of local areas to me. And I'll just have to see how it goes. So, guys, that's my little chat with you guys. And I hope you find it interesting. And why, you know, I'm living in a vehicle. But because you live in a vehicle, it doesn't mean you're down and out. Some people do it for life, you know, they like to travel. Some people do it to save up money. They want a nicer vehicle. They're doing it for whatever reasons they're doing it. And everybody's respectful. They're not throwing their trash out. They're not pissing on the floor, you know, on the ground, and ruin it for other people. You know, that's what you got to do. Don't ruin it for other people. Take your trash, tidy up after you, leave it as you find it. Well, if you find it all trashy, I mean, don't stay there. Don't try to get the blame for it. But do take your trash with you, clean up, dispose of your stuff where it's supposed to go. And that's all you have to do, and nobody will bother you. You know, just respect the area you're in. Respect other people. And help the future people that might be staying in their van. yes, everybody, there's some people that aren't decent that live in their van. Idiots. You know, maybe they got a lot of problems. You know what I mean? Like mental problems or drug problems or alcohol problems. And all they got is a vehicle and a car full of bottles. But just be respectful to where you are. You know, keep the noise down, no parties, no gatherings. You know, try to keep yourself to yourself and be a little bit more private. You know, that kind of thing. So, I mean, I got common sense, guys. I got a lot of common sense. Anything can happen to anybody, anywhere. You have just got to be on your ball. Pay attention.